Alright, what we're going to do right now is we're going to create an assembly of our Automata boxes. First thing we need to do is we need to open an assembly file. So we come up here to New, click it, and then come on over here to Standard.im and open a new file. Now if I were to ask you what's the first command that we need, because you know the most important commands are always in the upper left hand corner, you're going to come up here and you have a choice between place or create. We're going to click place, and what we're going to do is we're going to go through and find our Automata boxes. I put all mine in the same folder, and I made sure that I made my blocks have different sizes. So I'm going to start with my 5x5 block, and I'm just going to drop it right there. And so this is my 5x5, which is my base block. Now I'm going to zoom out so I have a little bit more room to put in my other blocks, like my 4x4, and I'm going to need 2 of those. And my last one, which I just have labeled as back. So I have these blocks and I'm ready to go. But wait a minute, I forgot to put in a top one, so I'm just going to come over here, click and drag, and it brings a second one in. Now I'm ready to start assembling these files. So I'm going to come up here to use the constrain command. I know that we think the joint command looks like the right one, but we're going to use constrain for the majority of the work that we do. Within constrain, you can see there's a lot of different options up here. The most common thing we use is the make command. The make command is when you take 2 objects and they're facing each other. Flush command, as the picture shows, are when 2 objects are facing the same direction. So think of mate as going out to dinner with your friends. You're all sitting across the table from each other, looking at each other. Flush is like when you guys go to the movie and you all sit in a row facing the same direction. So let's start with the make command, and I'm going to say that I want the top of this box here to mate with the bottom of this edge. And notice how I grab my view cube and I'm rotating it. I just grabbed that and I want it to click here, and it moved. I'm going to zoom out and I hit apply. I'm not going to worry about if it's where I want it to be yet. I'm going to continue to follow the commands. Next, I'm going to do a flush command, and I'm going to make I want the front of this to be flush with the front of this. And if I have to zoom in, I'll just roll my wheel and zoom in. And I click apply. Now, some of you may think, okay, this isn't quite the way I wanted it. I wanted it to be locked in and not moving. Why is it still moving? Well, if you were to look at this, it kind of looks like it's going all over the place. But let's look at it from the top and see which way it's moving. So I'm going to grab this piece here, and notice how this piece here stays directly above it. That's because I flushed the front face of this with the front face of that. Now I'm going to look at it from the front, and I have my same thing here. I'm going to move this over, and look, I can move this over. So I need to put one more command that's going to lock this in and keep it from going too far over here. Well, just like when we were building it, we wanted to make sure that these 2 outsides were flush with each other, or square. And I'm going to come up here and click constrain, and I'm going to say flush again, and I want you flush to you. And then I hit apply. And I will continue to do this all the way around the box. Most objects need 3 constraints on separate sides to get it to do what you want it to. Okay? Other constraints that are available but you won't be using today are the angle constraint. In the case of the angle constraint, you can make it so that 2 things are angled from one another. So I could say I want you and you to be at 75 degrees from each other, and they'll be at 75 degrees. I could use the what's called the transitional constraint, or the tangent constraint, sorry, and that's for 2 circles that you want connecting, and there will be a time for that. There is our insert constraint, which puts pegs inside of holes, and then last but not least, we have our symmetry constraint, which says that whatever happens on one side, we want on the other. To be honest, I have never used the symmetry constraint. We're going to be focused on the insert, tangent, angled, and make constraints. Okay. Now, And so this is our object. Last thing I'm going to show you before I let you go is this is moving all over the place. That can be a bit of a pain. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here to my browser window. I'm going to right click on it, and I'm going to come down, and there is a command called grounded. When you ground something, it keeps it from moving. It can no longer go anywhere. Sorry about the bell. Okay, you can ground any part you want to, but it doesn't make that part work really well anymore because that's not where we want it. So we're only ever going to really ground just one part. All right, that's it. Good luck.